life I've been fascinated with music and art. Much like many of us in this room, I've been painting since the day that I could hold a paintbrush. Music is definitely my greatest love, and I hate the universe every day for not giving me the voice of an angel. It's fine. It's fine. So, Brandon Boyd is the lead singer of Incubus, which also happens to be a great watercolor and ink painter. He has his own thoughts on music and painting and how they are similar. To Boyd, writing songs and painting are basically the same thing. Painting's just the tangible version of the process. While Boyd was creating his own music with his band, he was also creating these beautiful pieces of art and merging his lifelong passions in this way. Now, since I don't have a wonderful voice, I have to merge my passions in a different way. And I do this by merging the ideas of the song and like the lyrics to make my own artwork. That's the main inspiration of a lot of my artwork. So what was my project? I was able to revisit my roots with this project and create a special edition CD cover using my old creative processes and the medium I grew up with, because I was also a huge watercolor and ink artist as well. So for this project, I chose the Morning View Incubus album to make like one out of a series of different albums that would highlight each song with its own artwork. The song that I chose was Warning. Warning tells a story about a woman that has been coasting through her life when she realizes one day that she hasn't been present for any of it. The song is literally a warning call to not have this happen to you. This is explained plainly in the chorus of the song. When she woke in the morning, she knew that her life had passed her by, and she called out a warning: don't let your life pass you by. Personally, this song has become one of my favorites because of, at one point, I also was a lot like this woman and kind of lived her character arc. So since albums, you can kind of do whatever you want, I'm going to be talking about the frogs because I'm in charge. So there is a reason for the frogs. If we move farther along into the song, to the bridge, which is floating in a cosmic jacuzzi, we are like frogs oblivious. To the water starting to boil, no one flinches, we all float face down. This is a direct reference to something called the boiling frog syndrome, which I love. This is an urban legend that originates from 19th century scientific studies by Frederick Galtz, where Galtz threw frogs into a boiling pot of water, and the frogs that had the privilege of keeping their brains and not having them removed, they had the privilege of trying to escape their impending doom, while the brainless frogs obviously stayed put. After this, a lot of other cruel people started throwing frogs into boiling pots of water. The conclusion of this theory, pretty much, the scientists all collectively came to the same conclusion, that if you throw a frog into boiling water, the frog will sense danger and escape. But if you put a frog into lukewarm water and heat it very gradually up to the boiling point, the frog has time to react and is unaware of what is happening. So it is boiled alive because it is completely unaware of the changes that are being made to its body. Now, the conclusions of the actual scientific studies are kind of up for debate, which is kind of weird because yes. Because people still use this in psychology today to explain a lot of human behavior and what happens to the brain when there are these gradual changes that happen. Your brain literally does not process these changes as urgent or dangerous. So before you know it, you are living a completely different life than you did before. Your normal is now a new normal, and unfortunately it takes years to undo to this point because your reality has been so manipulated and warped that it's almost nearly beyond repair. So this theory is typically used to explain why individuals stay in abusive relationships or situations, alongside explaining the mass of the fall of society, why that may occur seemingly out of nowhere. And what I do believe is that the latter is true in this instance in the song. So in Warning, some of the lyrics that make me believe that this is the main thing of the song, that like, hey, you know, mass fall of society, we need to like be a little bit more aware of what is happening and like what we feed into. So some of these lyrics include, kudos to those who see through sickness. Those left standing will make millions, writing books all the way it should have been. And this is my personal favorite. I suggest we learn to love ourselves before it's made illegal. So in today's day and age, I think we could all benefit from listening to this warning so we don't suffer the same confusing fates of the poor boiled frogs. Thank you.